Hi, it's me, Delusion Dispeller, and I promised a video upload about ramen noodles, top ramen noodles, or I think there's another one called Manchusen or something. Can't remember exactly what the brand name is or whatever, but you'll see on your screen from Yahoo Life, Yahoo Health, there is an article about ramen noodles, and you can check this out for yourself because I will, of course, put the link below. I'll make sure I remember. First of all, let's talk about what ramen noodles are for those that don't know. They're like these stringy noodles, wheat based, I believe, among other things. And they are something that a lot of college kids will use for meals because they're quick and easy. You just add water. They're instant. You know, we live in an instant society where everybody wants stuff like that. We are busy people. We like quick things. Some people hate to cook. So these would be the really first choice, ideal idea for people who are in a hurry and don't like to cook or just like things that taste really good. There's no debating that ramen noodles are delicious. There's no debating that. So are a lot of things that aren't healthy for you. But let's talk about what exactly is in the ramen noodles. Because somebody asked me, what do you think of top ramen? What's in them? Okay, let's talk about what's in them. So first of all, propylene glycol, which I've known this for years since I worked in Melaleuca and also sold New Ways products because I got out of Melaleuca because I found out these things were in their products. Okay, those are home-based businesses, by the way, multi-level marketing companies. So here we go. This is in a lot of food. This is in cake mix and it's in other things too. You just got to read the label. And they do list this one. Propylene glycol. What is it? It's a liquid alcohol that they use to preserve the texture and the feel of foods. And in the case of instant ramen, you want your noodles to be kind of chewy, but a certain texture. And everybody likes that about the noodles because they can slurp them up real easy and quickly. It's also in tobacco products, and it is one of the main ingredients in antifreeze. And yes, it's in your cake mixes. It's in a lot of dry goods. You just have to read the label. Propylene glycol. Tertiary butyl hydroquinone, TBHQ. Again, read your labels. I've seen this in foods. They do list it usually. It's a preservative, and it's one of the main, it preserves one of the main ingredients in the noodles. Wheat, flour, salt, and vegetable oil are basically what the noodles are made of. And in fact, if you make your own homemade noodles, that's pretty much how you make them, unless you use like the kind of flour I do that's gluten-free. But you're basically mixing flour with water, a little bit of salt, and oil. That's how your basic noodle is made. This particular ingredient, the TBHQ, is also in perfume, lacquers, and biodiesel, which I think is like something for a truck. I'm not really sure what that is. Oh, it's in resins too. Again, not exactly sure what that is, but maybe somebody can fill me in if you know. But it doesn't sound like it's food or should be in my food. Okay, another one which many of you have heard of this, monosodium glutamate. It's a sodium salt of glutamic acid, and it gives that nice taste to the food. We all said that ramen noodles, oh, they're so delicious, whatever, those of us that love them and eat them. That's what gives it the food is, well, one of the things, monosodium glutamate. And MSG has been linked to many health problems, headaches, stomach problems, nauseousness, sweating, heart palpitations. Some people get flushed, like their cheeks get real red. MSG, most people know, is not a healthy thing to have in your body in general. But yes, it contains that. Many Asian foods have MSG in them for flavoring. A lot of sodium in ramen noodles. That I've known for years. Instant ramen in one package, there is 1,875 milligrams of sodium. Most people believe that the ideal sodium intake for most humans is around 1,500 milligrams. So it's well over that for one package. And ramen noodles are made in such a way that you crave more, in my opinion. I always did. I couldn't just sit down and eat a little bit of them. I had to eat a whole package, you know. So you're getting 1,875 milligrams of sodium in your ramen noodles. Vegetable oil. There's different kinds of vegetable oil, but in ramen noodles, there's usually canola, cottonseed, or palm oil. And even though those are unsaturated oils, which I don't believe any of that stuff is good for you anyway, and I don't use it. I use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. I don't use any of those seed oils, palm oil, none of that, not even peanut oil. It's very high in, the palm oil is very high in saturated fat, which can cause heart problems, cholesterol problems, and other problems. Oils are just not good for you when they're that kind of oil. BPA. BPA disrupts your endocrine system, and it can come off of that styrofoam cup that a lot of these ramen noodles are sold in, and it will leach into your body, especially after you boil the water and put it in. It can get right into that water and go into your system. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what BPA is linked to. I'd have to do more in-depth research, but I know any additives and preservatives can be detrimental to your health in general. Corn syrup is a sweetener, but it usually also is added to preserve the texture in the noodles. It's like putting sugar in your spaghetti or your pasta noodles. Okay. I'm reading some more information here because there is more in-depth information. TBHQ, the tertiary butyl hydroquinone, hard to say. It is a byproduct in the petroleum industry. Yes, petroleum, like gasoline, petroleum. So it comes off of that when they do whatever they do to process petroleum, and you're putting that in your body through the ramen noodles. Can cause nausea, delirium. I didn't know about that. Ringing in the ears. I never knew that either. Also, let's talk about MSG a little bit more. Some of the results of eating that, if you're sensitive to it anyways. Headache, sweating, flushing. We talked about that already. They're just reiterating. Sodium can cause kidney disease, stroke, high blood pressure, heart attack. Lots of doctors tell people to lower their sodium intake if they have like heart issues and things like that, or any type of real severe health issues. Okay. Corn syrup. Okay. Did we talk about corn syrup earlier? I can't remember. Let me see real quick here. Yeah, we talked about that. Corn syrup is trash as far as I'm concerned. Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. And, you know, the corn industry doesn't want you to think it's bad for you, but it really is. It's not healthy. We need to go back to, you know, closer to when years ago, how we used to eat before all this stuff existed. It's just not healthy. These things we're putting in our body. I'm trying to find another article about ramen noodles. There was a specific one that was on Facebook that really spelled it out. That was pretty good, though, what they were saying there. I mean, that was pretty accurate and spelled it out as far as the ingredients on the label. So, just a sec. I'm going to look up something here. Is this the one? This might be the one I was talking about. Yeah, I had seen it on Facebook. I looked on the label myself on my ramen noodles because I was eating them at the time, and it was not healthy. The stuff that was in them was just absolutely not healthy. It was really bad. There's other stuff that's in it. I need to find out the ingredients so I can really go over that with you. And that's only some. Like I said, there's so many other things that are in them. I mean, anything that's dried and reconstituted can cause a problem anyways. A lot of times noodles that they reconstitute, even the noodles that I was eating yesterday, can cause inflammation in the esophagus. They can, like, I guess they absorb the water and they thicken, and sometimes it's hard to digest them and it is hard to process them. Excuse me. So yeah, but there is no arguing that, oh, here's a top ramen ingredient list. Enriched flour. Okay, first of all, flour is not good for you. The type of flour they use nowadays is not einkorn flour, which was the flour of our great-great-grandma and maybe our grandma, which was a lot healthier, didn't have so much gluten in it, and did not cause the health problems to the extent that we have them today. So it could be that flour bothers you in general. But if you get the einkorn wheat, it might not bother you so much. But this is not made with einkorn wheat because they have to keep the cost down. And einkorn, I can tell you because I've bought it myself, is pretty expensive. Usually over, I think it was $10 when I bought it. $8 to $10, maybe higher than that for a little bag. Not even a huge bag, just a little tiny bag. And I used it very sparingly because of that. We already talked about the palm oil, the salt, what does that say? Autolyzed yeast. I don't know what that is. Extract, probably to make it raise and get puffy like a noodle is. Citric acid. I can tell you right now, some people are highly allergic to citric acid. My daughter Amber has a lot of problems with citric acid, and it's in pretty much everything. I'm not exactly sure what citric acid is used for. I'm guessing just a preservative, but don't quote me on that. Look it up and figure it out because I don't have time right now. But citric acid it causes mood changes in some kids and some people. You just have to, know your body. And if something bothers you, don't eat it. Disodium guanylate. Not sure what that is, but I'm sure it doesn't sound like it's something I want in my body. Disodium isonate, disodium succinate, dried leek flake, that's just onion, no big deal. Egg white, okay, garlic powder, hydrolyzed corn and soy protein. Some people agree that soy, especially when it's added to foods and isn't like the soybean, can cause problems and issues with some people. Lactose, if you have a lactose intolerance, you're probably not going to want to be eating ramen noodles. Maltodextrin is sugar, basically. Natural flavor can be, I'm not trying to be gross, but natural flavors can come from the back end of a beaver. Look it up. Caramel coloring, caramel flavoring. You have to look up the information and find out for yourself. Onion powder, fine. Potassium carbonate, not sure what that is. Potassium chloride, again, look these up on your own. I could, but I don't really have time right now. Powdered chicken, I'd rather have the real thing if I'm going to eat chicken. Rendered chicken fat, okay, well, that's obviously to make the gravy type stuff, the base. Silicone dioxide, sounds like plastic to me, but I'm not sure. Sodium alginate, not sure. Sodium carbonate, I believe that's baking soda. Sodium tripolyphosphate, don't know. Soybean spice and color. Okay, again, coloring can come from many sources. You want to find out what the source is. Yeah, it's not healthy, guys. There's a lot of chemicals. If I had to say nothing else other than chemical, not good. Oh, guess what? So I am going to possibly be able to explore this a little bit more with you. Just a second. Enriched flour, what we just said on the first part. They said that enriched isn't actually enriched. What it means is there's a bleaching process, and there is a byproduct from the bleaching process called alloxan, which causes diabetes in lab animals, which I'm against that, obviously, testing on animals, and it destroys their pancreas. So when you see enriched flour, you might want to hold on to your pancreas, y'all. Okay, palm oil. We've talked about that a little bit earlier. Fatty liver disease, insulin resistance. These are things linked to palm oils. They're in fried foods, frozen pizza, cake, cookies, margarines, coffee creamers. Consume in moderation. I say don't consume at all. That's my theory on it. Although occasionally I used to have like coffee creamers. There are different kinds of coffee creamers now, though. So read labels. That's basically what I'm saying. Read the labels and decide what you want to put in your body. Okay, we know about salt. Autolyzed yeast extract. I didn't realize that this article actually contains the information for me. So here we go. So when the yeast is broken down into its individual components, MSG apparently is one of those components. And we already talked about MSG and what that can do. So that's what the autolyzed yeast extract is. It contains the MSG as part of it. Okay. There we go. The disodium guanylate. That is the taste enhancer. And consuming too much of that can cause headaches and nausea. Disodium isonate. It says it's a purine. So it is one of the building blocks of DNA. And if you don't like eating animals, you're not going to want to eat that. It's usually used along with the MSG. So that in itself, unless you are vegetarian or vegan, you probably don't have to worry about that as much. Then the succinate gives a scallop taste. And I guess they must use that more maybe in the fishy-based ramens. So a lot of these things are just flavorings, but some of it, like I read you earlier, is not healthy. Hydrolyzed corn and soy, it says that it's used just like MSG to enhance the flavor. I don't know that that per se is a huge health problem, but some of these other chemicals, yeah. Maltodextrin, malt sugar. Sugar itself is like razor blades in your bloodstream and in your body. It just creates a lot of damage, a lot of inflammation. I mean, there's people, obviously, this isn't a one size fits all, like anything is not. Some people eat this stuff for years and die a happy natural death. Other people eat it and have health problems. You just got to decide for yourself. For me, I don't like a lot of artificial stuff going in my body because I don't know the damage it's going to do in there. I mean, to me, it's almost like a virus. Like, I didn't know what damage the COVID was going to do to me, but it's produced a lot of yuck in my body. The worst thing being this nasty smell I constantly have in my nose. That's absolutely awful. And that would be enough for me to not want COVID. So these are just, artificial ingredients that, and sometimes quote unquote natural ingredients that are not healthy in your body. Potassium carbonate, that reduces or regulates the acid in the noodles. Okay. Potassium chloride is kind of a salt substitute. It enhances the amount of potassium. Let's see. Oh, wow. It's used to induce cardiac arrest during executions. When they do those lethal injections on criminals, that's what they use. And that's in your ramen, y'all. Okay. And other things. It has a bitter taste. Let's see. Powdered chicken, well, obviously, like bouillon. Rendered chicken fat gives you the flavor. Silicone dioxide prevents clumping. The alginate keeps everything moist. The carbonate is basically, it says, a more caustic version of baking soda. When I think of caustic, I think of burning. This gives it the chewy texture. But I don't like the word caustic. That will give me pause right there as far as eating anything like that. Sodium triple-phosphate is a neurotoxin. So it can cause brain issues and nervous system issues. Okay, it says FDA limits how much can be added to any one food product, so that's a relief. That's what it says in the article. Soybean, cheap form of protein, spice and color. Like I said, look up where colors come from, and they're going to talk about that a little bit. Beaver back end. Things a lot of times are broken down by the liver, and if you have liver problems, a lot of the artificial colors, flavorings, etc., can cause damage in your liver. All right, let's see. Sugar, we already talked about that. TBHQ can cause tumors in rats. Now, if you don't believe that because something just caused a problem in an animal, that it will cause a problem in you, then, we got nothing to talk about on that end, because you're like, whatever, that was a rat. I'm not a rat. My chemical makeup as a human is not like a rat. I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to worry because I just happen to know that the FDA approves a lot of things that shouldn't be approved. So you can decide for yourself what you think is good for your body and what's not. I'm just telling you why I personally do not touch the stuff. I don't eat ramen noodles. The noodles that I ate yesterday, they don't have any of this stuff in them. They're from a yam. They're called, why can't I think of them now? Anyway, they are I think they're an Asian-based noodle, and they are shirataki. That's what they're called. They're delicious, and they take on the flavor of what you cook them with, and they don't have all these chemicals in them at all. So yeah, those kind of things I would eat. And they're not actually instant noodles because they're already in noodle form. All you do is squeeze the water out of them, dry them off, cook them, add your sauce. They're not instant. These are not dried, and then you add the water, and it constitutes them into the noodle. The shirataki or miracle noodle, in my opinion, is much healthier, but be careful because those noodles are known to expand in the esophagus. And some people that have trouble chewing, swallowing, digesting might want to really avoid those miracle noodles because they can cause problems. And they can cause choking hazards in some people. So if you do decide to eat those miracle noodles, what I did was I followed the directions exactly. They say to take a scissors and chop them so they're smaller. A lot of people skip that step because they like the long noodles like the one I showed you last night. You might want to really cut them down. That might help in the breaking up and digesting of the noodle. Okay, so I'm looking at some other articles here that I might share. Just a sec. I'm on StreamYard, so it's easier to share stuff with you. Okay, this is just talking about saturated fat, flavor enhancers, sodium. Let's see. Okay, they're telling you to throw out the spice packet. That might get rid of some of the extra nasties that are in there. So these people are talking about how to cook them and stuff. So some people don't believe that they're bad for you. I do. I think a lot of stuff is bad for us, and it's promoted as something that's healthy, and it's just not healthy. Anyway, like I said, do the research yourself. Just don't believe it because I'm saying it, and you probably won't anyway, because a lot of people discredit everything I say, or most things. But I'm just telling you from my viewpoint why I won't eat those. I don't put them in my body, period. And you can decide for yourself. It's your body, your choice, and that's about it. I'm sure there is more I could tell you, like how they process the actual noodle, but I don't have that information right at the moment. I do know, like I said, what it's made of, the wheat, the oil, which is typical for making noodles. But then they add all those chemicals in with the packet, and yeah. Anyway, look it up, find out, see if I'm lying, see if I'm telling you the truth, or if I left anything out, feel free to comment below. So tell me, if you do eat ramen noodles, why do you eat them? What do you think after hearing all this? Is it going to cause you to change your mind? Or is it just information? Just, oh, okay, well, there's garbage in everything we eat, so let's not worry about it. And maybe you know somebody that ate these all their life, an older person or something and is now having health problems. I'd like to know about that too. All right, I'll look forward to hearing from you. Please do comment below. And also, by the way, if you like this video and other videos I've made, please hit the thumb to say that you like it, share it, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching. This has been Delusion to Speller, and I will see you next time. Shalom.